Hello, I'm Katie, and this is my presentation for Economics for Managers on flexible versus fixed exchange rates. First, it would be helpful to know exactly what the exchange rate is. The exchange rate is the rate of value that currency can be exchanged between international countries. The exchange rate system is a set of international rules used to determine the value of international currency. This international exchange rate system is the biggest market in the world, with more than $3 trillion being exchanged every single day. If you have ever traveled to another country, then you know you need to buy that country's currency. For example, according to the U.S. Department of Treasury, if you travel to Canada, you would need to exchange $1 US for $1.33 of Canadian currency. $1 US is also equivalent to roughly 47 pesos in the Dominican Republic. I actually have 10 pesos from the Dominican Republic when I went there. You see it? Each country is different and has their own exchange system. I have personally been to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic. In fact, here are some coins from the Dominican Republic. I used to have Jamaican currency too, but I lost that a long time ago. In both places, most people accepted the US dollars, but if we went to a grocery store or souvenir shop, they would give us our change in their currency. That's how I got it. Okay. The two most common exchange rate systems are called flexible, or sometimes called floating, or fixed exchange rates. Flexible exchange rate is set by the market, such as supply and demand. If demand for a specific currency is higher, the rate will increase. If the demand is low, the rate will decrease. This rate changes often. Fixed exchange rate means the rate is set by the government and does not change often. When there's a change in the rate, it's either called devaluation, reevaluation, or depreciation, appreciation. Devaluation and reevaluation refers to the change in price of domestic currency. Depreciation and appreciation refers to the change of market price of domestic currency. Devaluation and reevaluation are used when referring to the fixed exchange rate, and depreciation and appreciation are used when referring to the flexible exchange rate. The advantages of the flexible exchange rate system are the rate is more stable in the economy because they change in the direction of the economy. The country's money and overall economic growth affects the rate. Another advantage is countries can set up an autonomy policy to help control inflation and output. On the other hand, because the flexible exchange rates change frequently, there is a lot of risk. Another disadvantage is that the autonomy policy, if they're used too much, they create higher inflation rates. Also, the stability that is an advantage of flexible exchange rates is also a disadvantage. Flexible exchange rates change in both directions based on the market. It can either increase or it can decrease. Some advantages of the fixed exchange rate is that the rate hardly changes, and when it does, you're aware of it and it is expected. It is a gradual change, not a surprise. Since there are no surprises with the fixed exchange rate, the economy can adapt a lot easier. There's also lower risk with the fixed exchange rate. With the fixed exchange rate, the government can't respond quickly to imbalances of payments. Another disadvantage is that the fixed exchange rate system requires a large amount of reserves, and there may be problems with liquidation. Also, sometimes if the fixed exchange rate is set too high or too low, it may not be compatible with the economy and therefore creating conflicts of policies. In conclusion, the flexible exchange rate is set by the market and the economy and fluctuates often. The fixed exchange rate is set by the government and hardly ever changes. The changes that do happen are gradual and expected. Both systems have advantages and disadvantages, and both systems are being used effectively. If you decide to travel internationally, do your research on the country's currency. It really is fascinating to learn. And then here are my works cited. If you have questions, you can reach me at klroland2@williamwoods.edu. Thank you.